Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am thrilled to have back on again Fernando Borrego, who is much better known as Sans Patrie. He has just released his newest single called Córdoba, and I'm super excited to talk to him all about it. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy and maybe not stressful weekend. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on again. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man. It's been almost a year since we last caught up. I'm looking at the
hmm
date here. It says April 11th, so coming up on a year, which is crazy. I assume that you've been up to so much, releasing new music, making new music, but you've got this new song on your hands called Cordoba, and I love it. I want to hear all about it. Let's just kick it off right from the top. What is this one about?
Yeah, so this one was a song I wrote years ago while visiting Europe, particularly southern Spain,
I
where I have
assume
family and
so.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going through some stuff. I had just gotten out of a very toxic relationship,
Hey.
and it kind of made me lose a little bit of hope, as cliche as it sounds.
It's not. It's true. It happens.
Yeah,
Like,
it
yeah.
it made me lose like hope in love a little bit. Like it got me thinking, like, damn, like, can I be the way I used to be, vulnerable, sensitive, or is love actually just about survival and just getting through?
Yeah.
And I took this trip with some friends, but one day I visited the city of Córdoba, that's like right near Sevilla. I've never been there.
Mhm.
And I took a day trip by myself, and it was like it was so therapeutic, and the city was so inspiring. And I wrote the song in like that whole day. I just wrote the whole lyrics out,
Awesome.
and it was kind of like almost a love song to my future self, to any self
Yeah.
of mine that was like feeling down. And it's just like a very like get back to basis, get back to like that childlike wonder and sense of what love is, and just being very romantic and mysterious like that.
Totally. I mean, that's beautiful. First
Mhm.
off, I, I apologize for my terrible pronunciation. Obviously, that's
No
one
worries.
thing. But coincidentally, I was in Sevilla not too long ago. I didn't have the opportunity to go to the other city, but I'm sure it was as beautiful as it sounds. I think that
Yeah.
there's something truly so beautiful and underrated about traveling by yourself. It gives you the
Mhm.
opportunity to be with your own thoughts, to grow, to build, and sort of move on. And as unfortunate as breakups are, they're never easy, as mutual as sometimes they are and they come off
Yeah.
as. It really does make for great content to write your music about. You're living life, you're living these experiences. We don't do it on purpose, but now you
Yeah.
have this piece of work and piece of art that lives on. And I think other people can kind of, lean on it and connect to your words.
Yeah, absolutely. I think first of all, yeah, solo trips, it is a good way to just be alone with your thoughts. I think sometimes that's very scary, but it kind of helps you work out thoughts, and a change of scenery helps because it, I don't know, it gets you away from your daily routine and makes it
Oh
more
yeah.
freeing to accept those thoughts and
Yes.
work through them. Yeah.
No, fully, because especially if you don't speak the language or you're just not familiar with the area, you're
Yeah.
thrown into a new culture and society that you have no idea how it works,
hmm
and you're there. Okay, the message is great. I'm not surprised by that, but the actual sound and like rock nature of the song is very much you.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, my first impression of the song is it definitely leans into the Britpop side of things, which is great because I love
Yeah.
that. It feels like prime Oasis, but at the same time, you've given it your own spin on it. What was the
Mhm.
thought process going into that and kind of like structuring and composing the song?
Yeah, so at that time, like I'm a huge Oasis fan, huge Noel Gallagher fan, and
Sure.
at the time, especially during that trip, when that trip happened, I was big into the Britpop scene. I was into
Yeah.
a lot of it. So I think I wanted to combine the inspiration from a Spanish city with the kind of dark and mysterious, like alt rock lyrics with this Britpop sound,
Yep.
and that was like the kind of the foundation. So the first kind of chords are very reminiscent of Wonderwall,
Sure.
If I Had a Gun. But then as the song progresses, it does get that alt rock feel.
Yes, literally, it's
Yeah.
like you're reading the notes on my page right now. I'm not even joking. No, because it does it in the best way possible. It becomes this sort of reminiscent sounding song, but then fully, completely becomes its own living, breathing thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like all of your music, but you do a great job of just blending so much together to create your own thing. Yeah, it
Mm,
pulls from influences and inspirations, but at the same time, it doesn't feel recycled like you just keep pumping out the same type of music. I think in
right.
today's music landscape, that's one of the most difficult things to do. Just considering
Mhm.
the sheer amount of music and volume of new stuff that comes out, if you can find something that sounds original, that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I mean, I write and compose all the stuff, but I
Sure,
work closely with my band now, and
exactly.
for us, it's we're not we want to come up with something unique, but we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You know,
Sure.
we're a big proponents that the music that we're making is not just for other musicians; it's for the standard listener.
Yeah,
And music is about feeling, music about comfort, music about movement, about wanting to dance, about wanting to feel. We're not trying to be experimental with these things. We're just trying to put a message out there, put a great song, put a great rock and roll track out
that's awesome. It's approachable, and that's what it's
there.
really
Mhm.
all about.
Yes, sir.
We talked a little bit about this last time, but things are always changing. In terms of like future sounds and experimentation, I know that you do keep to a mold in some sense,
Mhm.
but we're very much at the beginning of the year. Like new music, new sounds. Is that something that people can expect, or you think you found your lane?
We definitely have our lane, but there are certain things that I think early on I went more like experimental or try new things that I
Yeah.
don't want to let go on. I think whereas before I did everything by myself and then I hired out the parts. Now I still write and arrange, but I do get a lot of feedback from the band that I work with, and I
Okay.
think that always leads to new paths because there's always new ways of thinking that you may not have thought of.
True. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, yeah, obviously you said that so much of this music is made by you,
Mhm.
lyrically, compositionally, but does your band ever chime in for things they think might work better? Like in terms of the process?
Yeah, absolutely. Our guitar player Eduardo has was very instrumental in the entire first album, but
Okay.
now more than ever, he'll come up to me with, "Hey, Fair, how about this?" And I'm one of those people that I trust him enough now as a musician where
Yeah,
I just let me listen to both. Whatever works best for the song is best for me. So I could be right, you could be right. I don't care. Just let me hear both. Let me
totally.
taste both. And Nick, our new bassist, he's
Mhm.
also very. He's coming in little by little and adding his take onto the song, especially the live versions of the song and how to make it, how to transfer from the recording to the live setting. He's very instrumental in that.
That's reasonable. I mean, that's yeah, the trust factor in making music, it's like
Oh yeah,
they become a family, as cliche as that sounds. It's like you
yeah,
have to have a baseline trust and kind of be open to collaboration in some sense. Obviously, the
yeah.
final product is spoken for itself, so I think you're good on that end. Um, in this case though, like future music, is it going to be centered around your life experiences over the past year? Like, what else has been going on with you? I can't imagine
Uh,
it was just this one thing that, spurred this song.
No, there's always it's always gonna be, there's always gonna be room for the classic rock and roll, like Sex Pistols rock
Yeah.
and roll. But yeah, lyrically, it has, I just turned 30, and you go through different stages of life. When you turn 30, you get very reflective on your life, and
Mhm.
there's different things. I have a lot of songs written about my time when I was working in the service industry and how difficult it is to be a musician in these big cities or an artist in
Oh,
general in these
yeah.
big cities. Deeper subjects like that aren't circled around just love or rocking out. Um, and a big influence on us has always been the retro, like the 1950s and 1930s.
Oh,
So
fully.
yeah, lyrically implementing stuff like that and giving it a modern spin will always open you up to new, lyrical avenues and ways to write about music.
That's a great way of putting it. I'm not too far off from 30 myself, just a few months away. And yeah, you really do start to like think about things. Not that you're not thinking in the past, but like things feel more real.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's tough though, especially writing music and kind of crafting what's going to come next is you don't want to force things to happen in your life just so you can write music about it, but you want
hmm
your life to happen organically in a way, you know what I mean? It's this
yeah,
weird line of being an artist, and I think just a creative in general, like, I don't know, it's a weird thing, but I imagine especially so as a musician like yourself, just like
yeah.
how do I navigate the world and make music and kind of feel like I have it all at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely one of those things like you said before, unfortunately heartache is great for artists. That's
Yes.
something you have to come to terms with. But that's not to say that travels like this song, yeah, it was brought on by heartache, but it was also inspired by a travel, new experiences, changing up where you live, changing up, experiences with friends, just going out. Like you can write a song about just going out and having a drink with your friends, but
Sure.
I think the only thing you kind of have to avoid as an artist, and I think as a person in general, is just being stagnant, just staying at home and just staying safe. That's the
Yep.
killer of joy.
Ah, man, so true. Overall, though, this trip sounds like a positive. Like, what could be worse than going to Spain with your friends and enjoying
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
life, that life for a little while? Switching gears for a minute, like I said, it's been a little while since we've last talked. We touched on live shows and events. Wasn't sure
Mhm.
if that was a thing last time. Has it been a thing now? Is there things planned?
Yeah, absolutely. So after we last spoke, we started playing our first live shows. We've been playing
Amazing.
live consistently, once or twice a month in the city. Uh, there's now like a steady band in place,
Yeah,
and there's good band chemistry. We just played a show for my birthday and for the release of the new song a couple weeks ago at Rockwood Music Hall.
cool.
And we got a couple of shows lined up in the next couple of months, and we're just going to keep implementing new tracks and playing the old ones as well.
That's what it's all
People,
about.
they're easy to sing along to.
Yeah,
So
man. What are the shows looking like in terms of set lists? Is it always originals? You throwing any covers in there? Like what are things looking like?
it's mostly originals, but we throw in,
Good, good.
our big covers. We have a Latin cover from a band from Argentina called Soda Stereo. It's a like 80s band,
Okay.
de música ligera. And then our two other big covers are Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry and
Awesome.
I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett.
Sure. I mean,
So
honestly, those are two perfect songs to really get the crowd. It's
absolutely.
it's it's tough though in your shoes as an independent artist because, chances are the people you're playing to may not know who you are. And you have
Hmm.
to capture their attention in some way. And if you can get a sing
Yeah.
along going, there's so much more apt to actually pay attention to your original music. I love that
Hmm.
so much. Um,
Yeah.
keeping on with this though, in terms of your original music, is there one or two songs that you most look forward to playing in a live setting? The ones that really bring you the most energy?
So well, I think in general, um, Whiskey Song from our last album
Mhm.
is a big hit. Everybody seems to love that. We usually close the sets with that.
Nice.
Dance Stance is a big, like, jumping up and down. Um, but when it comes to the rhythm, like the rhythm section, where it's the drummer and the bassist, they really like, Tequila Mi Vida or Shotgun, things that have a big
Sure.
like backbone. They like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this song specifically, I think you could pull it off by yourself. I could just imagine you like sitting on a chair with an acoustic
Hmm.
guitar making it work. It's got that versatility about it that where like it's like the familiar feeling that I was mentioning, but just
Yeah,
you and a guitar could totally pull it off.
absolutely.
That's awesome.
I think so.
Are there any upcoming shows or things happening this year that you'd like to plug?
Yeah, so we have a show at a kind of newish venue this upcoming Friday at
Nice.
Brooklyn Music Kitchen at
Okay.
7 p.m. And we're going to release another single in hopefully April if all goes according to plan, and possibly an EP at the end of June.
Okay, so there's plenty going on right now.
Oh, there's always stuff going on. You know how it is.
Oh, I know how it is. As an independent artist, you can't really ever stop. It's like a
Nope,
hamster wheel of life.
absolutely.
Um, Going on with that and sort of expanding on it, we're very much still at the beginning of this year, or else it feels like it. What
Hmm.
are some major goals that you'd like to hit? Obviously, there's a ton of music coming and shows coming, but there's got to be more than that in terms of like the long term, outreach.
Yeah, I want to be able to. Well, on a professional side, I want to be able to grow organically. You know, we've been growing steadily, and
Yeah.
it's been a joy to see as an independent artist. It's always very difficult when you're doing everything yourself. I want to be able to grow the accounts, the streamers, and just
Yeah.
the streaming numbers, and gain everything organically. But I think on a more real sense, and I'm sure you can attest to this too as well, is on a personal level, just balancing things. You don't want
Yeah.
to, yeah,
Burnout,
you don't want
man.
to work, you don't want to burn out too much because then it stops being what you loved, you know?
Yes.
So,
I can fully feel that, but so much more in your shoes. It's tough because I mean, shoot, you could even go back 20 years. It's like people did
mhm.
music as a side project and it's hard to explain. It's like it was never easier to make music. You didn't really need
Yeah.
much recording, but now everyone can do it. And I think we touched on this last time, but like there's never been more people making music, which then in turn creates competition. And there's other
Hmm.
factors of just like getting your name out there, and it is legitimately a full-time job no matter what you're doing. Um,
Yeah.
you don't want to lose the love for it, and it is that balance of not doing too much and not doing too little, but also feeling like you're fulfilling yourself without, I don't know. It's complicated for sure. There's no right
It
answer.
is, it is complicated. So I think that's not just a year goal, that's a lifelong goal. That's like a lifelong
Totally.
task that you have to figure out how to feel like, okay, I am resting, I'm not being lazy,
Yeah.
or I am being lazy, I'm not resting, or I'm doing this because I'm posting this content because it's enjoyable to me and it's going to get me results, or I'm posting this because I feel like I have to, which is kind of killing your inner self. So there's always a balancing act. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's truly impossible. And
Hmm.
there's no right answers.
You got to figure it out on your own.
Exactly. Well, on a more positive note, I've got a couple more for you. I want to
Mm.
know, what music have you been enjoying? Is there anything that you've heard lately or listened to lately that sort of reinvigorated your love for the craft?
You know what? It's crazy. So now, okay. So on a serious note, I found this new. Well, it's not new. They've been around since the 2000s. I just discovered them.
Sure.
It was like a new wave Britpop band. Ironically, I discovered them just around the time this recording process started for
Okay.
Córdoba, and they're called the Music.
The
They're
music?
the Music, and it
Great
lives up to the
name.
name. They're awesome. They're so much energy. I think they're back together now. They kind of broke up. I'm so happy. Like when you get into a band and you see
Yeah.
they broke up, it sucks. But they did that. Now they're
Right.
back, just in time for me to listen to them.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but on a funny side, again going back to like the social media and stuff, I've been on TikTok a lot more.
Yeah.
As so have you, I see.
It's a beast
But
of its own.
it is a beast. But you start, like, whether you like it or not, there's wild stuff, there's crazy stuff. And I saw this collaboration. I forget who the artists are, but it's like there's so many of these. But it was a song that this guy mixed just using a sound bite of his cat meowing, and
What?
then somebody he did a whole great song, super like early Gorillas Demon Days slash like Fatboy Slim,
Sure,
and
sure.
then another guy added like a whining harmonica over it. And
Okay.
let me tell you, it's so embarrassing to admit, but like I'll listen to it unironically. I'm like, this is a
That's
jam.
that's the goal for these, it's just random ass people that have too much time on their hands.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah, that's another obviously beast of its own where it's like you don't want to spend 10 hours a day swiping through videos, but then you just get lost in the craziness of these random
Mhm.
people that put together a 5-second clip and they've got you hooked for life. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, people are starting to say that it's like the new TV. That sometimes
Oh
you
yeah, my
just
friends
say,
didn't watch TV anymore.
yeah, you just
Yeah.
sit. I'm gonna sit down and watch a couple minutes of TikTok.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
even like a 5-minute YouTube video is like, oh man, I don't want. Yeah, it's just too much.
Too much commitment.
Kidding
Yeah.
me right now? Like, God, where's our attention spans gone? Whole
Uh,
nother situation. um, anyways, Fernando, I want to thank you so much again for taking the time. I have one more question for you,
sure.
and it's very similar to the last time. Basically, the question is for the person that is going to discover you from this, what is an opening message that you'd like to say to them before they listen to your music for the first time?
Okay, so we're Sans Patrie, which means without homeland in French. So the whole
Yes.
idea is it's for everybody and anybody, especially people who feel like they're floating between spaces, that they don't really fit it or belong anywhere in particular, and they kind of feel disillusioned or disenchanted with everything. This song is just about that, but in the sense of love. And it's the same thing, we have ups and downs, we get lost a little bit, we get disenchanted, things happen,
Yep.
but it doesn't mean that there is no place for you. It just means you got to keep looking. I read somewhere that bravery is not being afraid of anything. It's being afraid and still going through with it. So vulnerability
Yes.
is key. Just keep trying.
That's amazing and inspiring, honestly. Um, listen, thank you so much again. Let me please plug your song for you again here. You
Absolutely.
guys missed it the first time around. The song is called Córdoba. We will have the links in the articles that you can listen and share and follow along and do all that fun stuff. Sounds like there's so much more headed our way this year in some capacity, so now's the perfect time to pay attention. I'm invested. I'm excited to see what else happens, man. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Good times, man. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your little bit of weekend left. And yeah, man, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care, man.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.